So you're not a real fan because you didn't shit your pants watching Over the
I
Garden Wall?
I guess I'm a fake fucking fan, you guys.
I
Like,
I know.
clenched it, yeah.
Okay. So the quote was gonna be,
Mhm.
um, before we started this, and I went, we have to record this
Right.
take.
Mhm.
Was I the only one who didn't just like shit themselves watching Over the Garden Wall? And I don't mean that. I realize I don't mean that like I was afraid watching it.
Okay.
I mean like that it's not the end all be all. Greatest
Uh,
thing. Because people
okay.
fucking love Over the Garden Wall.
No, right. People like have a whole deal
Yeah.
about it. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
This is a classic Chris of like I liked it, I didn't like it as much as other people, and now I
Well,
feel like the bad guy.
well, that's how I feel with Full Metal Alchemist. I remember like
Yeah.
Mm.
people in like in high school and college
Uh-huh.
when I was they asked me about Full Metal, and then I would just say, "Oh, yeah, I like it. It's pretty good." Like I just tell them like it feels like a solid 8 out of 10
Right.
experience. Just
That's
a
a really
pretty
good
good.
ranking. I think an 8's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I would tell them, yeah, it's just a pretty good show. No complaints. It's
Yeah.
it's fun. Like,
Oh.
but no, then I get shit on not for any negatives, but because my enthusiasm.
Yeah, because it's not as good as you don't like it as much as they like it.
Yeah, I
Right.
didn't make it my identity. Like I didn't carve
Yeah.
10-3 on
Uh,
my watch.
Well, I don't know if this is a hot take. So I agree somewhat with you, Chris. Like I
Okay.
definitely don't think it's like it's not like the most fall thing, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like, and
I would
I'm like
also argue, and people argue it's like like one of the best animated shows ever.
Mhm.
I don't agree with that.
Mhm.
as someone who's been told that, but it's really
Well,
good.
Yeah.
yes.
But I'm sorry, Ian. Continue your fall thing.
I was just gonna say, like, I think I would wait. So I do like it. I do think it's pretty good.
I like it too.
And I
Yeah.
agree. I'm not going to say that it's like it destroyed the history. What I will say though is for when I'm in the mood for like a fall time, spooky time season
Good
thing,
vibes.
I'm gonna do it like 10 out of 10 times over Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. I'm never picking that one if I have the option to watch
Pumpkin
this.
Charlie Brown.
That well, you would see. I would argue that like it's considered a standard. I personally don't, but like
Mm.
we
It's
also grew up
what's
going to
not
Knott's
the
Berry
standard
Farm.
for hang on.
Yes.
Hang on. We have a much different take here that
Okay.
I want to explore. I had so much to say about Over the Garden Wall, but now I'm like this fascinates me a little bit more.
Okay.
which is
Mhm.
are you saying that the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown
Mhm.
is not so much a fall show as people say it is?
No, it's more like it doesn't satisfy a viewing experience
Okay.
with me as an audience member, I guess.
Okay, it's very different.
It's a very different thing.
That's
Very,
very
very
different than we were being
Yeah,
led to
yeah.
believe.
I guess the comparison I would make is like, what would your choice in Christmas movie be? Gremlins or Elf? Like, that's a taste perspective,
Yeah.
but I have an answer of which one of those two I would rather watch like 10 times out of 10 rather than the other one. Yeah.
And then talk about that crazy scene with the crazy monologue in Gremlins.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Where I learned what Santa Claus wasn't
I was ready for Ian to be like, yeah, that cartoon where the dog is on the giant pumpkin and they're all looking for pumpkins in a pumpkin patch after going trick-or-treating is not a fall show.
Bullshit. It's nothing.
I was ready for that. I was ready. Listen, man, Over the Garden Wall is really good. The vibes are good. It's one of those shows that I don't even like think there's a problem.
Yeah. No, there isn't really.
It's real tight. It does what it sets out. It just I don't know. It wasn't like this is the greatest show ever. Type deal. There's cool stuff in there. Granted, I'm like maybe if I was a kid, right? I'd find because I watched it real late.
Yes.
I'd find it a lot more scary than I did. Where there was
Like,
stuff where I went, oh, I kind of wish they went a little harder, but yeah.
I think you're exactly right. Like, if we were the prime target of,
Yeah.
not being maybe 10 years too old for it,
Yeah.
like if we were 15 or younger, it would probably be hitting even harder for us if we had seen it in that fall time. I'm
when it
sure
had
that's
come
a
out.
part of it too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Cool piece of Americana. It goes through like a lot of Americana, if you know.
Oh,
your
yeah.
shit, so.
Great folktale telling and great classic American. Like, I remember as a kid, like, one episode that did grow on me is the one that's like all 20s cartoon inspired, where it's kind of eerie but dreamlike, and there's like cherubs that are just baby heads with wings. Anyway, fun program.
Yeah, he was. I know, like Patrick McHale was supposed to do the animated series on Netflix for Redwall, but that was one
Yeah,
of
what
the things
happened?
that was canceled along with everything else,
Oh,
like Bones and
God
yeah.
damn these mergers.
2014. It's 10 years old. That's crazy. Oh well, we started
That's
this with the premise that the 10th
It's the
anniversary.
anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah. God dang, guys.
No, you know what? Even if I had watched this when it come out, I'm looking at how old I would be. I don't think I would be as scared either.
How were you still in school? Or you were still in school? Yeah, 10 years ago. Yeah.
I was in college.
Oh, yeah.
I was in school.
Nick was
You
in
were in
school.
school.
I was in college.
You
Granted,
were in college.
that whole
Mhm.
like everything except Gravity Falls, I was like completely oblivious to on the.
Yeah, I didn't even try, and I mean, they're
That whole
not
era.
on the same level. I think Gravity Falls was probably
Gravity
like
Falls
creme
is
de la
way
creme.
better.
It was creme de la creme.
Yeah. Gravity Falls might be one of my favorite cartoons of all time, if not my favorite one.
I mean, like, I think we put in perspective, Chris, about like animated shows that had their run and had like a genuine ending.
Yeah.
With that to account, like, yeah, it's probably Gravity Falls.
Yeah. Granted, the ending to like Over the Garden Wall is good. It's because it's all like Americana tropes, right down to like there was this girl I was trying to impress. I made a fool of myself, and then I took it out on my little brother because psycho violence and stuff, and violence goes through family. And my brother didn't deserve it. He's young, and he's the epitome of innocence, and I must protect that innocence with my.
You must.
You must protect your younger brother's innocence, Chris, while you're wandering among the beasts of the field. That's another thing. There is innocence, and there's also just genuine maliciousness out there that will prey on the innocent.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. part.
Yeah.
That's a good lesson kids should learn.
Yeah, definitely.
There is shit out there that's fucked.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. You should not go over there.
You guys ever read the comics?
Oh. What's up?
Oh, sorry. I was gonna ask. Did you guys ever read the comics?
No.
No, I sadly didn't. But I heard that they were written by Joel, so it's like contiguous with it, right?
Are they after?
Yeah, it's just a little bit after the show. It's still good. I still like the shows like ending more than the comics, but they are cool. They're more like kind of like Steven Universe, where they're just there in case like you want just more stories.
Okay. It's not like Avatar where like they tackle the real heavy shit.
Oh yeah, that's where all the questions were answered.
Yeah, dude. When people told me what the comics are actually about, like from like how do you how does an imperial nation fix the world after? I'm like, ooh, good question.
There's no
answer that we've come up with.
What's your hot take, Avatar? Go ahead. Fix it for
you do it.
Oh yeah, everything was Zuko's mom. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I should read those. I know there's a lot though.
There's like I thought there was like 4 of them that are like Avatar Aang related, and then I'm not sure how many Avatar our next Avatar we get.
Korra.
Yeah.
I have no clue. No clue. I know they kiss. Korra and Kasami kiss. Sounds like a good deal.
And I know that
would
we're
have been
gonna
nice on the
get.
show.
Would have been. Well, we got one. Oh, be grateful. You got one. You all be
Man.
See, that's where I'm always gonna be, because I'm always like, yeah, you did the barest of minimum. Like,
oh yeah.
I'll get into
always
that.
a fucking curmudgeon about that shit. Anyway, we're talking about Hobbs and Shaw today.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Speaking of spinoffs,
Hobbs Shank Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
Happy spooky month. Our second movie is Hobbs and Shaw, and the next one's gonna be Happiness. Wowee! It's real Halloween up here.
Up in here? Oh,
Yeah.
It's always Halloween.
Yeah,
It's always Halloween. I'm just talking about that with Nick, where like I haven't watched Happiness yet, but like I know it's not a Halloween thing. I just know it's supposed to be like a horror.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna be like, Nick, I can't wait for and this is like a prelude to all you listening. Which apparently we had a lot of listeners for I Saw the TV though, or at least more than usual.
Hell yeah.
I am looking forward to not talking about the movie next podcast and only just accusing Nick of sabotaging Halloween month with a non-Halloween movie.
I can't wait to watch Happiness. I think I'm gonna have a whale of a time.
I'm sure I'm gonna like the movie. That's not the interesting part. The interesting part is how we're gonna like tie it either into Halloween or fall, or just go after Nick for not suggesting a Halloween movie.
Well,
it's a horror movie.
Tune in next week and find out. How do we resolve this tension?
The problem is, what's crazy?
What?
Like I had just watched it again, like last night.
Oh, okay.
And it's still like a thing of I can't just tell you what it's about.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it soon enough.
If I tell you who the director is, I think it'll both prove your point and then prove mine, and then we'll just sit here and be like, well, I guess none of us are right.
Yeah. I guess we're just gonna have to watch another movie. Another Halloween thing.
I guess we're all just gonna have to do all the Sinister movies as one review.
Yeah.
I guess
I'm supposed to catch up on the Terrifier movies for Terrifier 3 because I haven't watched any of them.
Oh man.
Have we talked about this on the pod? Is that man?
I haven't watched them because I haven't watched them.
Okay.
Well, you don't like them?
No, you know what? When you watch them, maybe we'll talk about it on the pod. I would love the chance to maybe talk about them, but I've got thoughts. I've got criticisms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got to get away from the Halloween stuff because it's October, and we got to talk about Hobbs and Shaw.
Real horror.
A movie that's like the plot's like I watched it 2 days ago, and it's already slowly leaving my brain.
Yep. Can I tell you it's really funny? I literally finished it on my lunch break. I watched the beginning before work. I finished it over lunch.
Wow.
And I feel similarly. I feel like I'm barely holding on to any details from what happened.
That's like
the ending super clear. The Samoa part that I
and we'll talk about that.
Yes, we should.
So I think that should have been more of the movie.
I agree. I think that should have been more of the movie rather than just doing. Well, we'll talk about it, but it's L.A., London for a big chunk of the movie, and then Russia and Samoa. I think those are all our locations.
Was it L.A., dude? I didn't even recognize.
The Rock. The Rock is in L.A., and that's
LA,
where that's where that diner is. Yeah. You can tell because palm trees, and they shoot it in warm light.
So that could just be on a lot too. Like that diner, like probably doesn't exist, but they have filmed on location before. So
Well, that place is almost definitely a set because of the. We'll get to it. I've got, oh my gosh, so many thoughts. But
okay, because I
we could do
honestly don't know how much of the movie we're gonna recall, because a lot of it is gonna be an action scene happen, and then like
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what do we know about the movie before going in? What's the rising action? Who wants to go first?
I'll throw out quickly.
Yeah.
I had been spoiled by a whole scene in this movie.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I basically had seen it. That we'll get into the details at the end, but it is
Yeah.
a scene near the end with a helicopter and a hook on a thing. And I saw this. Yeah. There's very apparently, I think it's pretty mimeticized scene of The Rock doing a thing with those objects. So I'd seen like 7 minutes of that segment, I think. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous. I think I had told you that when I saw it, and I was like, this is crazy. How's this a movie? What about you guys?
So I know I've seen this trailer at some point for some movie, because when we got to Samoan bit, I went, "Oh, that's this movie."
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know it was a Fast and Furious movie.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah. But it's Fast and Furious. Oh, I gotta say the full title: Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. And like, yeah. So it happened. And the Samoan parts happen in the last, not even third, man. Maybe like a fourth of the movie.
Yeah. It by the time we get to that scene, it all is moving really quick, and we're doing a surprise. Well, I mean, you could say that about a lot of scenes. They're doing a lot of work real fast to be like, yeah, this is who this is, and this is. Wait, okay. So let's start off also with we find out definitively The Rock is a single father.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitively, he is a single father.
It's kind of implied because like this is not.
Yeah.
This is not the kind of franchise that's going to be like, no, the dad takes care of the daughter more than like other men,
because he's a good guy and he loves his daughter,
and he's present.
Yeah.
The wife could just be working. No, the wife's like dead or something. So.
Definitely dead, or well, no, because she holds up her sad little family tree with a question mark. So it's like he has not even addressed that for her in any way. Like, oh, I don't know. Which is meta funny, but in the reality, terrifyingly sad, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is why he's probably such a present father. But yeah. So anyway, Nick, because I know we're in the territory now, right, where you haven't seen this, right? You haven't seen any of these movies.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, so what do you know before going in?
I only know two things.
Got it.
I only knew that Idris Elba was the villain.
I didn't even know that, dude. I didn't that's how little I knew about this fucking movie.
I know, yeah. You even call it a movie. You know what, Ian?
It's a movie.
I told him that this is not plot armor we watched. This is a plot fortress.
Yeah. Everyone's immortal. Pretty.
He's a Terminator, and there's so many instances in this movie. There's so many instances where you do get what we brought up in earlier Fast and Furious of, okay, so a human would die there, dead. Oh, they crashed the helicopter into the rocks on the side of the ocean, and then they were alive. Just like, I'm fine.
All three of them are alive. Well, okay, but two of them are believable because they have like robo bodies apparently, and they're cyborgs.
Yeah,
so, although they never stay cyborg in this, I think that'd be too nerdy, and that would turn off the car faring audience.
Yes. And hey, boys, you get like 3 car races in this. Don't worry, you do get the vroom vroom. They do it.
You have to look for them, but they happen.
You gotta look.
So I knew. So I knew Idris Elba, and I knew who came back.
Okay.
I don't know who came back. Who came back?
So Tokyo Drift. Han.
Han's not in this.
Hans? What do you mean, Han?
Wait, Han's back?
Is he?
Nick, you just said Han's back.
Is that F9? Am I crazy?
Oh,
Wait.
wait.
Never mind.
Did you watch Fast and Furious 9 instead of
I watched 9 instead of
Are
Hobbs
you
Shaw.
spoiling shit
Oh, okay.
from like from movies we haven't seen yet?
You know what? Maybe I have seen more.
More than you remember.
So you know what? Let's take back the statement.
Hey, well, there goes the fun part of the next movie. So
No,
we could all
I'm
thank
sure.
Nick for that. No,
No, okay.
it's
No.
real.
You know what? I don't even feel like doing it anymore.
Yeah, I'm canceling the year of Fast and Furious.
I know only one thing about this movie.
It's
Uh-huh.
like
And then think about
Hacksaw
another
Ridge
movie.
being part of the Fast and Furious franchise.
Mhm. Mm.
That's a callback for like 5 or 6 podcasts ago. So,
Oh my god, that's for our real fans.
That's
for
for our real.
fans. Yeah, that's right.
Oh man, oh that got me so fucking good. Okay, so that's what you knew before going in. Let's just talk about the fucking movie, which is the climax. Yeah, we're doing it. So the movie begins with a heist. Well, it's not really a heist. It's a bunch of cops going at one military, but they're policing. They're getting some sort of. They're trying to steal a tube.
A glass tube. Yes.
Yeah. And there's that's where we're introduced to our lady protagonist. Hang on, what's her?
Yes, Patty. Patty Shaw.
Is her name actually Patty in the movie? I don't remember.
Hattie Shaw.
Hattie Shaw.
Yeah.
Played by Vanessa Kirby. Who's decked out military gear. Does the takedown, and then Idris Elba shows up. I'm gonna go through these real fast. This is a long ass movie where like a lot happens, but not a lot of it's like plot related.
True.
It's just it really is like that's a bunch of events that happen back to back.
Right.
So steals the formula. Idris Elba shows up and he's like blocking bullets and shit with his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not doing a Jedi trick. He's just doing that so the bullet could hit his hand. Yeah,
because he's wearing like a Wakanda Forever, like a super cool bullet resistant thing. Yeah.
It turns out he's cyborg, as we find out, because he has like eyes things that let him detect imminent threats.
And he has a horrifying open spine cavity that we see later that they tinker around in.
Yeah. And then, so Hattie is able to get away with the tube, and they go hunting for her. And then we get to a sequence with Hobbs and Shaw where they're like, this is how they start their mornings. Shaw just finished fucking and goes to make an omelet and and he sprinkles a little chives while The Rock is like eating raw eggs and working out.
I did love I'll try and point it out while I think of it, but I do remember the split screen shot. They deliberately give like LA the warm setting and London the cool setting. So one side is like red and one side is blue. Mm-hmm. And this movie does have so many shots that are like very vivid and comic booky almost, like big bright yellow lights, purple lights. Like we got some of those real big primary looks. It felt really art directed for long stretches. I felt.
Yeah, it usually only happens when there's like motion going on too.
Yes.
A lot of the scenes where there's not action like are actually kind of like plain. But I get what you're saying. I forgot to mention. Okay, so this movie came out in 2019.
Yes.
Right. Story is by Chris Morgan, screenplay Chris Morgan, directed by David Leitch, who I don't think has directed any of the. Nope.
He did John Wick.
Oh, is that true?
He did John
oh my
Wick,
god,
and
he did.
And Deadpool.
Oh my
Bullet
god, that
Train.
explains so many shots, especially when Shaw is fighting the first batch of dudes
Yes.
in the shower.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, those are just John Wick shots, and the colors are the John Wick bisexual lighting going on.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so directed by John Wick guy, never comes back. Never comes back.
Nope.
Chris Morgan, of course, is the writer for the going back all the way to Tokyo Drift.
Mm-hmm.
But this will be his last time writing, it looks like. For
Oh wow.
Or at least the next two movies are not him. They're both by Justin Lin and like a co-writer.
Okay.
Anyway, so we do this. So gets the stuff. Now they got to hunt for her, or no, they get their own like little beeps because I guess they've been tracking shit. For what purpose we don't know, other than like it was some nefarious thing.
Yeah.
That they need to keep tabs on. So they have their own like style of fight scenes where the Rocket's like the big wrestling stuff, and Shaw's all about like quick takedowns. A little bit more acrobatic.
Yeah. He's the gentleman rough up guy. Yeah.
This is the ruffian, whereas the Rock is like a tank.
Yeah.
And then they both meet CIA operatives, and incredibly, oh my god, this movie has, I'm not gonna even go over everything, but this movie just reeks of punch up writing.
Oh yeah.
Because this scene could just be taken out of the movie. Like, or the two CIA things. They could have been different.
The prolonged, like, let me ask you guys how those scenes felt for you, because to me, there's a few of them, and they all feel way too long.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
The Kevin Hart one's the worst one.
What was?
The Kevin Hart one's the worst one for me.
Oh God. Okay, so we're talking about the gratuitous cameos, or we're talking about the scenes between like Hobbs and Shaw where they're just like being cool dudes, like 15-year-olds think cool dudes are.
Yeah. Little action figures that they mash together and like
the meeting in the CIA room where they have like a 4 or 5 minute scene where they just like do your mom jokes and you're so dumb and you're little and you're among your league. Yeah.
That okay. So I will say about that one, that scene does have to happen because like it's the first one of the movie.
Yeah, sure.
And you have to do that. You have to establish their relationship. Right.
True.
But also, it kind of feels like it resets where they left off in the last movie because there is no mutual respect going on.
None whatever.
Even though there was some in the last one towards the end.
A good bit. Yeah.
Well, no, I wouldn't even say a good bit. I would say like there's that thing where they're doing the thing where they're doing the insults, and then they both smile at each other, and then they're like ha ha ha. Stuff. And then like they kind of don't. And that to me, I was like, someone saw that scene and went, they should have a spinoff, and this movie happened. Okay, but Ryan Reynolds is trying to recruit Dwayne Johnson into Shaw. Or no, sorry, Hobbs. Fuck. Hobbs into the movie.
Into the movie, and then Deadpool's best friend Pete is trying to recruit Owen Shaw into this movie.
So you ready for this? So John Leach already directed Deadpool too. So that's probably how he got both of them.
Probably so. Yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds is just doing Deadpool without being Deadpool.
Well, did you guys sit for the after credit scene?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about that. But yeah, I did feel like, especially the Ryan Reynolds, but the Kevin Hart cameos as well, felt so weirdly out of place because, especially Ryan's bits were clearly shot at a different day at a different time, after the fact,
and they were all shot in one day, probably.
Probably all shot in a day, because we get a shot of him twice outside the diner, once in the diner with no extras in it. And they draw attention to it, and we get one shot of Kevin Hart where he's just like 2 camera in a truck cabin. So yeah, it those cameos feel super out of place to me when I was watching it.
I'm telling you, it's punch up, man. It's punch up. I will say Ryan Reynolds has the two best jokes in the movie, and one of them's in this scene. And it's where he opens his shirt and shows that he got to Samoan tattoos over his white body. And it was one of those jokes that I went, whoa! And then I started laughing. It was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
That was pretty good. That's pretty good. The second best joke being, when he's alone in the diner and he goes, I think it's closed, and then just the scene.
Just no extras. Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, that's very good.
So that happens. They recruit him. The daughter is trying to do a family tree thing, and it's like, I don't know who the fuck my family is, and The Rock's like, well, you're not gonna know, and then and then the daughter finds a photo and had found a photo and went, who's that? It's my brother. We got into a fight, and we don't talk. Type deal, and then at the same time, Shaw's happening. He's getting recruited. They find out that Hattie, he shows the photo of who it is, and then we don't know the relationship yet. And then they're recruited, and then we get the two scenes we get the scene of them both talking to each other, which is that insult. Well, is Hattie there already? No, they haven't caught her. They're about to.
Yes, they're about to.
Hattie goes through a whole dress sequence, and then The Rock's just there, so it wasn't for anything. And then they fight, and then they're starting their tango of fight fucking that will keep happening in the movie.
Yes, that's right.
They bring her back. We find out it's a sister. It's Shaw's sister. And by the way, I'm gonna really blast through this. So if you guys want to stop and talk about the scene, just feel free to stop me anytime. Okay, feel free to pull that train lever. So sister, and they're like, what? And family. I don't know when he talks to Helen Mirren. I think that's at the beginning.
Yeah, it's up at the top of the movie. He talks to his mom about how she's still in jail from the last Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah.
and that's another. Yeah, I mean that's.
I thought she was out of jail because they meet her in a pub in the last movie.
They do. You're thinking too hard about the storyline in a Fast.
She got in jail at some point during the.
Yeah. She can't keep her nose clean. She lives the lifestyle.
You know what? That's a good question. How long between 2019? So only 2 years between these two. Man, they pump this shit out so quick. It's every 2 years.
Yeah, they do.
The movie, the really franchises now. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is.
You can grow old with this movie, with this franchise.
Well, yeah, we were saying that a whole generation legit probably grew up on it. Yeah,
on these franchises.
Yeah.
So, the Hattie gets out, beats up the new kid. And then I think it's that fight where we find out that... Is that where we find out she stabbed the pills into her system?
No, we saw it in the opening sequence, but she explains what actually has happened. That she is...
I totally forgot that she did that. Yeah.
Incubating the thing, and she's got 3 days, basically 3.5 days before she becomes patient 0 and wipes out the planet with a super virus.
Because it's not programmed, right? It's supposed to be a virus where you could program a group of people to murder, to genocide, to wipe out.
Genocide? Yeah. That's right.
We got to get back in the U.S. hands, man. We got to fucking give it to the cops. They're going to know what to do.
If the cops don't have it, then the terrorists could win.
That's right. Is that okay? So is that where we get the scene of finding out kind of what Idris Elba's deal is, Days of Cyborg?
Yeah, he establishes for the audience pretty early on that he was shot execution style by Shaw.
Yeah.
2 in the chest, 1 in the head, as they were trained to do.
Oh, that's actually... I think that scene is right after this, because that's where they break it through the windows. Yeah. And then, so they must have done already the they showed you the White Room or something. or whoever's like the voice.
Yeah, and so do you have a strong sense of who that is? Because when I heard the voice,
I assume it's Charlize Theron, like doing a real generic. It's probably not her, but like we're gonna find out it's her. Like, you know what I mean? Like she wasn't the one that recorded that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's who I'm pretty sure that's gonna be. So they tie it all together and shit.
That's a good guess. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Who'd you think it was? Who do you think it is?
When I heard the voice, I thought, wow, that sounds a whole lot like oh gosh, who was I sure it was? I thought it was another cameo voice. I was positive it was Ryan Reynolds. I was like,
we can look that up.
Yeah.
Later. Anyway, they the next scene is pretty like. I forgot to mention we like in the first scene of the movie, the first fight, they're using like these crazy electrical bullets. Yes. So already I was like, okay, now we're just full. We've already established this is a crazy military universe now. The cars don't like fast. That's what Fast and Furious is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just military equipment. But now we've gone back to like now we're like future tech. Magic is fucking happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like sci-fi and magic.
Yeah, the stuff hinted at from 2.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, exactly right.
That John Singleton introduced into the Fast and Furious universe.
What a gift he gave
EMP
us.
gun. Watch, you're gonna find out that shit's real or something.
This movie actually does early on. I mean, they go out of their way to, as you say, they don't use the word cyborg.
Yeah.
They go out of their way to try and keep things a certain degree of grounded. Like the craziest.
Simple. I would argue simple more than anything.
The craziest technology we see is like a drone that tries to shoot them in the. I think that's the London chase, or is that a Russia car chase they're in? I can't remember anymore.
I want to say it's London. I'm not sure. Yeah. No, it's Russia. Okay. It's Russia. It's Russia because I remember where that scene ends.
Oh, that's the one with the crazy truck. Yeah.
That's right.
Like in Moscow, I think.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It can't. I think it's like in one of those shitty, like those crazy mega apartments that are in Russia.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever. Anyway. Idris Elba, they burst through the window, they try to snatch Hattie, and then they both or Hobbs jumps out of the window flying after them. Shaw takes the elevator.
Yeah.
To which Hobbs's plan is to land, his safety net is landing on dudes who are still grappling down.
Yes.
And then bouncing from there, fucking table hopping.
Yeah.
While throwing them at Shaw, who's in the elevator.
And he does manage to throw like 3 entire adult men into
everyone's gone except Idris Elba.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
This is a superhero movie we're watching at this point.
Yeah.
They make it to the ground level, and that's where Shaw, the big reveal is Shaw recognizes him. They both worked together in the military.
In the old neighborhood. Oh, yeah.
Well, both, but in the military especially.
Yeah.
And that's where he, Shaw executed him, but didn't kill him. Yeah. Or he tried, 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. And then he was saved by the cyborg thing. Because he believed in it.
And he very much is the Darth Vader of this universe now. Yeah. He's got all the powers, and he gets a great monologue in this flick. We'll get there too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that happens, and then it's a cool shootout scene on the streets. There are people like around.
Mm-hmm.
Cars are flipped and all that. I know. I really am just like I'm trying to remember the little bit details. How's it end? If you want to remind me,
the London scene.
It's a car chase. Yeah, it's a car chase. That's where we find out about his magic motorcycle too.
Yes, his crazy cool motorcycle, and then Hobbs yanks a man off of a motorcycle and beats him with a building. and then Idris Elba gets flipped by like this Lamborghini Bugatti, like a sleek sports car that the three protagonists are getting away in, and he punches a hole in a double-decker bus as they escape.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and you get that scene where like the Bugatti or Lamborghini or whatever slides underneath like two semis, hauling, and that's where we find out the motorcycle is like crazy techno, future stuff.
Well, that's what Vin Diesel
can go flat. Yeah, it glides under. So no, they make it, and then I think that's where they like go to Shaw's hideout, right? And now we start really seeing the scenes of they're not in the same shots, or they're like The Rock and Shaw and Hobbs and Shaw are never in the same shots for too long, and if they are, there's more than likely a standing going, or you can't see the face of the dude, because we famously know they hate each other, and that they also have the contracts where they can never lose a fight. By the way, you should, for people who do watch this movie after, keep that in mind the time you're watching a movie and a fight's happening, that they can't lose, because nothing ends real satisfactorily until like the end.
Yeah.
I was gonna say for this movie also, like never mind. Carry on. I'll come back to that.
Okay, and then she serves him the full thing of whiskey.
Yes,
and then it's like haha, and then they're talking throughout, and they're trying to come up with options of how to proceed to save her. Go ahead.
They then have to kidnap a scientist, is what they determine. They have to like.
Yeah. They go find which is what brings them to Russia. They go find the Russian scientists. They they find out that like, is that when they get on the plane? Yeah, that is when they get on the plane.
That's when they get on the plane. You have really obvious body doubles back of the heads, while Kevin Hart does like a really prolonged little bit on a plane about why he should be in the movie.
Yeah.
why Kevin Hart pitching why Air Marshal Kevin Hart should be in this picture. And it's very strange, because that scene also, you can tell they are not acting off of each other. They're cut shot, and then the only shot where they're in the same frame is very clearly body doubles for both of them, in my opinion. But
no, I'm with you. This is after a whole comedy bit, but anyway, what and then they're like, we'll call you, man, whatever, because I mean, it's a nice premise for a character, a U.S. Marshal who just wants more, or wants to go back to murdering people. In whatever form. So he's already psycho. But so they get to Russia, they find the dude, they find the professor, and then
he recommends. They realize that it's doomed. He recommends either kill Hattie now,
burn
her, or try and break in for the what is it? It's genetic material extractor. It's like a It's basically like a it's like a kidney that's going to clear the virus out of her body, basically, artificially. And they're like, "It's in the Fort Knox, unbreakable. No thief could ever steal from such a place."
Yeah.
And then we get Shaw's, I guess, former love interest, who is like a femme fatale thief introduction scene.
Yeah.
Where her and her squad of beautiful and deadly thieves have.
Oh no, dude, that's after the whole like Russia scene.
Oh, is it?
Because he's already captured by Idris Elba.
Okay, yeah.
And this is like where they, they capture him.
Yeah.
That's the truck scene through the like, fucking with the building that falls on them.
That's right.
And the two driving, which is I keep almost saying Hulk, which is where Hobbs drives the truck through the doors, and Shaw and his sister are. Which, by the way, you always notice they have to pair up because like again they're not filming together.
That's right.
On the same day. Or like The Rock and fucking Jason Statham are not.
That's right.
So they do the driving bit. It's using an off-road vehicle to kind of maneuver to get away from them. As the building starts to collapse, and then that's where the Russian drones come in, and that's where they're doing the fight on the truck after.
Yes, and I mean I liked that sequence. I thought that was a pretty great.
I did dig it too, actually.
It was a pretty great sequence. It was well directed. The physicality of that whole scene. I feel like it just had some good lines building up to kind of the big kaboom, and then just running more trucks through other vehicles. But yeah, it was amazing. It was visually fantastic.
Really. I mean, it's the John Wick director, so like a lot of the action scenes are good when they happen.
Yeah.
And well shot. So they get away, but they have Maddie, but then I think they capture the professor somehow. That's where he's like being tortured on the gun range. And they recruit him. So they come up with the plan to go break in and steal him out, which is where like Shaw uses a Russian connection.
Right.
Who's like able to, and this is very John Wick, where it's just like you missed an entire crazy action sequence because it's all these ladies with like just hanging Russian mobsters like real life, stealing all their shit.
Yeah.
And then the plan is they turn themselves in, or she turns them in. Oh no, she turns in Hattie.
Yes.
And then they go break in.
Yeah.
Which is where they get that door sequence. And then like the two hallway scenes, which the breaking in, where it's just one big dude against the Rock, and then Shaw has to take out like a bunch of dudes. And Hobbs takes him out in like one punch. He's got like a glass jaw.
Yeah.
Or something. And then Shaw has to do the whole sequence, which is actually pretty cool. But...
Yeah, I love when we get to see Jason do like he's a great physical performer.
Absolutely.
I think sometimes I kind of like lose track of that in the hustle bustle of the movie. Throws a lot at you, but like genuinely, Jason, I want to give him some flowers. Like Jason is a great physical performer, and I like watching him flip guys and punch guys. Yeah.
He also will do these flashes of like great facial like animations, right? Or just selling stuff with his face. And like you don't get to see it too often because he always has to be in a scowl.
Yes.
As he's talking. And then like he'll do crazy stuff and you're like, wow, he's got real control like of his face. Which is really hard. That's like if you've ever done acting, like it's real tough.
He's got great control of the instrument. I agree. He knows what he's playing to the audience.
Would have been cool if they let him use it in this movie a little bit more. If they wrote that into it.
Yeah.
So they go through the hallway, and then they make it out, and that's where they are captured by Idris Elba's gang of goons.
Yeah.
Zero pointing, and then we get and then like Hattie breaks out of her like surgery because the Russian dude's gonna extract the stuff.
Yeah.
And then both of them team up because they got to break out Hobbs and Shaw from the torture. They're tied up to car batteries.
Oh yeah, most men die after 3, and then to be a hard ass, Hobbs says we'll do 5.
Yeah.
And they basically take the full brunt of electrocution from a car battery.
Yeah. And to their credit, like after everything is said and done, like they're shocked. They're shocked 4 times. I counted because I was like, okay, let's see. Like, before like they hint to a previous conversation or story, like the Mick Jagger, because they have ice that are named after, which they only do twice. They break the rule of 3. They don't do a third. smash and grab, or
a third con named after a 70s rock star. Yeah. I definitely maybe to touch upon that just briefly. There are a handful of moments in the movie where I thought they cut something there. That was longer. And then they trimmed. There's a lot less of it, I think.
Especially towards the end, like everything in Samoa. Feels really whittled down.
Yep. Yeah.
To the most important bits, or to the most okay, this, yeah. This leads into this leads into this leads.
Yeah.
So they, and then and again, man, there's even in that shot, even in those shots, there are moments where they're acting. And it's they're not working off of anyone.
No.
No. Yeah. Is nothing, and then they break out. Hattie helps them.
Yeah.
Break out and all that. Has the chips because they all have chips to not be able to shoot.
Yes. All the guns are activated by having a chip that allows you to use them, and that's plot reason for why the guns are off for a long stretch of this movie later. Yeah.
So they do that. They break out, and
they get a flight from Kevin Hart.
Yes, to Samoa.
From Russia.
Which, by the way, we kind of flew through everything. Even though I'm looking at the timer, I'm I think we've been talking for a while. That's the majority of the movie.
That's the first maybe hour and 30, hour and 40 even. Yeah.
I think it's the first 2 hours. No, it's no way. I think you're right. It's an hour 30.
Because that leaves you a little less than a half hour to do everything. Because again, as you say, Samoa fucking cooks. We get to Samoa. We get to the house. We get bam, punch the rock because you're a bad brother. You turned daddy in.
Yeah. But then the mom shows up and he goes, "Well, that doesn't matter. He's family. You gotta help your brother."
Family.
That's right.
Yeah.
Did someone say family?
Which again, we would have very differing worldviews in our world. Yeah. Granted, The Rock, we know The Rock hasn't done anything really bad, as we find out later.
Yes.
He got rid of the scumbag in his family, which was his dad.
Yeah.
And an actually kind of nightmarish monologue when you think about it, what they actually come up with, but they don't linger on it for too long. Because it shows that they're resilient. They came out of that.
Yeah, definitely so.
The mom throws a sandal at the brother. They all talk. Roman Reigns is there, so he's part of the family.
Yeah,
The Rock's family. He's not talking, but there's always shots on him. And and I always wonder, I know who that is, but if you don't give a shit about wrestling, do you know who? Do they know who that is?
How many wrestling references did The Rock throw? Because there was a scene where he does a suplex on a guy and says, "I'm the kryptonite," and
he does a back break, or a backdrop, or I forget what it's called. I don't know. Nick would probably recognize more. I was trying to see what Nick, was there any other wrestlers you recognized in there? Because I only recognized Roman Reigns.
I know that it was Roman Reigns, and then one other guy from the
Is it from the duo, the tag team, the Samoan brothers, or I forget who they're called? They used to train wrestlers. That was their big thing.
Right.
They're known for training wrestlers. I don't know if it was that guy. Was it that guy?
I was thinking. I thought who was it?
Anyone knows? Comment.
Yeah.
Comment down below.
Yeah, comment down below.
But Roman Reigns.
Yeah, Roman Reigns.
Reigns over people in a Roman fashion.
Indeed.
As Joe. And then
No. Joe's the brother. Joe's the dude with the twin braids.
I thought, wasn't that Josh or?
No, that's Jonah. His brother's Jonah, I think.
Yeah, hang on. I'm looking it up now. It's Jonah. It's Jonah, played by Cliff Curtis. We were both wrong. We were both we both got Jay, and then we can get the rest of it.
Look, a lot's happening. Okay,
there's so much that happens in this movie, and not a lot of it's important. And
we're getting to the Zack Snyder situation of there's a lot happening. There's nothing to talk about. Like it's weird.
Yeah, exactly. Nick, you nailed it. You nailed it.
You nailed it, man.
Yeah. So, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna help you out because we're gonna give them the food off our backs and all that.
And so his brother, who I guess lives out in the rural countryside of Samoa, is going to fix the weird gene splicing machine to save Hattie.
Because we find out he's like a genius mechanic.
Yeah.
As evidenced by like he does custom jobs on cars and motorcycles for everyone around the world.
You had Hector with Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
You had West Coast.
Yeah, exactly.
And then like okay.
I was just gonna say that scene did actually weirdly remind me of the very first movie in those shots of
that's the most Fast and Furious scene.
Yeah.
It's that shot.
Yeah.
Or them talking while doing the car stuff. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Doing the car stuff, the natural lighting coming through on a garage that's just full of, boys and their toys having a good time. Like, it felt like, this does feel like the first Fast and Furious, man. Okay, cool.
And it's gone. It's over. They're prepping for war. It's two war veterans prepping for an invasion of these superhuman soldiers.
And then we get it's a really interesting scene where The Rock's mom is like, I got rid of all the guns. It did bad things to our family. So I just kept the traditional Samoan like bone
the family heirlooms, the bone breakers, the
as you do.
Yeah.
The skull crushers, And
then well, go ahead, Nick.
I say I love that scene because that's the equivalent of like, oh, we got rid of all the weapons and all the knives in our house, but we kept all the Aztec chainsaws, saw blades,
and all that. Hey man, they're family heirlooms. Who else is gonna make them? They were saving them for precisely this kind of problem, an invasion of another sort, and they were ready.
They're ready.
It worked.
It worked.
And then you get this moment where, like, I don't know, guys. Like, we're cynical Los Angeles people.
Sure.
Who I'm sure we immediately when we saw the title card Samoa, we were like, The Rock pulled some strings to make sure that happened. But then you get a prolonged scene where Dwayne speaks in Samoan and basically leads his family in like a haka dance against Idris Elba. For a prolonged, and they're wearing like traditional costumes.
It's actually a very short version of the haka, by the way.
Yes,
it's very short.
Oh
yeah, very very much so.
But sorry,
but just to say, like, I was like, I saw that scene and I was like, oh, okay. So The Rock was like, yeah, the last time wasn't enough. We need a real one with big boys with muscles, and they're gonna scare Idris Elba.
Hey man, it's tradition, but they do that before football games, or before rugby games and soccer games.
Oh, that's cool.
It's tradition. It's what you do before going to battle.
Okay.
I think that part's fine. I think that I would argue it should have been longer. They should have done the full thing. But that's 6 minutes.
I wish they had done that. I legitimately, I think I would have liked it even more if.
I think it would. Yeah, that's my argument. We both agree. Like it would be better if they did the full fucking thing.
Yes, it would be so much better, and continue to cut to Idris Elba standing there receiving it. I would fucking actually.
Here's how they would actually do it. They would do it. They would shoot the whole thing, and you're watching it. It's kind of cool that they translate it because not everyone does.
Yes.
But you could have had them even doing a little bit more setup.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah. Again,
or even the argument of hey, we need more time for her artificial kidney to work.
Right.
And then be like, all right, I got just the thing.
Really keep cutting back to that. They didn't they showed us the timer periodically, but they could have really ratcheted it up maybe and used that as a tension building device of, well, we're just stalling. We need that time to clear her blood, basically. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So they do that, and then the fight begins. They set off all the traps. And they create the Ring of Fire, which is like, or just to give them an artificial, like, not really. Yeah, no, it's artificial wall that they have that they corner their opponents to.
Yeah.
And then they start, fighting with the blunt objects. So how do you all feel about that? Because like we spent the entire movie, and we find out these are all now like cyborgs too. The rest of the people.
Yeah.
That bullets don't work, but like the blunt objects do. Because I hadn't really thought about it until after. Like, you buy it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Or at least I bought it like when I was watching, but as I like thought about it, I'm like, that's weird, right? It's weird.
Yeah, you're right. It is weird, and the answer is don't think about it. It's not that kind of movie. The real
one.
like.
Well, we could also argue we don't actually see any of them get like they'll fall and stuff, but no one's like killed.
No,
right?
No.
And in fact, the family is getting like actually pretty hurt.
Yes, definitely.
So we could argue that that's why we bought it at the beginning, right? Like,
I think it's just to give us a reason why would this random family not immediately die? And you're like, okay, you've given me enough reasons to believe they know how to fight, they know how to protect themselves, and they know how to like.
They've set up the scenario as best they could in their favor.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And like, we also know from the rest of the movie that the technology is not like, none of them are perfect because Idris is the most far advanced, but even they say he's like, yeah, but you're not perfect. We can't get the full thing yet. He's not. He hasn't gone full on the. Well, he is the flesh is weak, but he hasn't gone full.
Post-human.
He hasn't done like the Hermes Conrad from Futurama.
He hasn't done a Warhammer like conversion yet. No, so they do the fight, and it's pretty cool fight scene all together. And then they try to get Hattie, or no, they're able to snatch Hattie because all the stuff's going on. Because Idris is like, listen, I already got the helicopter here. We just need Hattie to get her
out of here.
So they do, which is what. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, just we get another great car chase though.
Yeah.
Immediately leading into that. Yeah.
That part's pretty cool, where they have to like use the tow truck to hook on, and then the family brings their like cars.
And then we have 3 cars all hooking up together to try and keep a helicopter from taking off. And
it's like a row of 6 cars. It's something crazy, like at the beginning.
It's bananas. Yeah. It's and Idris Elba pushes his own dude out of the helicopter to just let you know he's a real bad guy, guys.
He's a real bad guy. He needs to, kills his own man.
Kills his own guys. He gets the guns back online. And I think that's when like the Rock's family disperses, and it's just the tow truck remaining connected at that point. At which point Hattie kicks out the 2 guards, fires into the control panel.
Yeah.
And we get the helicopter starting to lose altitude while the Rock has to hold on because the winch has broken free. Yeah. And now
before it's RRR, mind you. But...
Yes, this is before RRR. This is this is after Captain America 2 though. I think.
Yeah, no, I think it is. It's got to be.
It's very evocative of that.
I totally forgot that's in there.
And we then have the helicopter properly just crash into the side of the cliff.
This is 5 years after. Man, wow. Captain America Winter Soldier is 10 years old this year. Did you know that?
No, I hate it. I hate that.
We saw it in the theaters like the year it came out.
You sure did, Nick. That doesn't change anything. That doesn't change anything. No,
it makes it worse.
It means I'm young.
Oh God.
I know. I'm old now.
Oh, anyway. So the helicopter crashes. All 3 of them survive down in the surf.
Yeah.
As I recall, and then we get one more big fight where Hobbs and Shaw finally learn working
work
together. Yeah.
By literally, what's the plan? It's like, oh, one
I'll
of us
take a
takes a
punch.
punch, and then
Yeah,
you give a punch because you can only keep track of one person. Which
exactly.
that's just like fighting.
Yeah.
When when it's 2 against 1,
Mm-hmm.
is you should be like, when he's not looking at one, the other person should be doing something.
Yep. That's it.
And granted, it's shot very like, I actually think the slow motion works in this.
I agree.
It looks
I
pretty
agree.
cool because the
I agree.
punches look like they fucking hurt. Like
They surely do.
they sell
surely
them
do.
really well,
They
and the
surely do.
impact with the water is really cool. Like
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool for a fight.
Yeah.
So then they go ahead.
No. I was gonna say. Yeah. He insists that they wait until the timer counts to 0 to shoot.
Yeah, because then they have the
shoot
virus.
Patty. Then they have the virus.
Yeah.
And so we get the big fight. Then the mysterious voice turns Idris offline. Is that right? Like,
Yeah,
he's
but hang on. Let's
bested?
get that. Let's at least get the little like last thing with
Sure.
him.
Sure.
Because you're right, that does happen. They won the fight. Idris is up against the water, back to water. They have guns on him. And Shaw decides not to kill him because that's what caused this whole thing in the first place.
Yes.
It's actually like it could have been it is an interesting choice, and it's the right one, right?
Mhm.
It's just like it's not built upon that much because you don't get a lot of backstory with him other than the fact that Shaw killed him.
Yes, and that's their whole tension as characters, that he's now choosing mercy. Yeah.
There's no flashback to show them together and like the actual where things went wrong, and all that.
No,
but it is like an interesting choice on his part because he's right. This is Ghost coming back to haunt him.
Yeah,
type deal.
Yeah.
But then the big voice shuts him off.
Yep.
And then he falls into the water, dies.
Yep.
And then the voice is like, "I will get you guys yet.
Next time, Gadget. Next time."
And they're like, you know who this is, and it's like, and then they make it out, and then like, and then we find out what happened with the rest of the soldiers, which is everyone else on the island came on, or we assume it's the rest on the island. So they're incredibly outnumbered, and they get the big yeah.
And then the movie decides it's done. The movie just says, then that's it. Bye.
And then like, The Rock and Hattie are gonna get together.
Yes. Yeah, we did skip over when Hattie was 50-50 right before that mission. She does tell The Rock, "Oh, I'm enjoying my last sunset, and they share a kiss. And they float the idea that they're basically going to really double down on the family theme by having everyone married. Yeah.
The daughter the entire movie's been like, I want a mom.
Yeah.
I want one now. And then like, the movie kind of decides it's done, which is not out of character for the Fast and Furious movies. That's what happened last time as well. Where it's like the denouement is very small. But the daughter does get to meet the family. So that's a really nice scene. And then we're given like the comedy bit of like Ryan Reynolds saying there's an even worse virus that instead of like turning your insides into mush, it turns your outside into mush.
Your skin falls off like a silk kimono in a windstorm. Yeah.
That was a line. And we do that whole comedy bit, which is again very reminiscent of Deadpool. He's just doing his Deadpool character. Without like the superhero bits. And then there's like, isn't there like 2 more scenes? Like there's like mid credits or
Hattie and Deckard Shaw both do get Helen Mirren out of jail.
And that's shaped like a file.
Yes.
It's pretty funny that it got past anyone, but yeah, and then we get one more with Ryan Reynolds, right? Where he's like, I murdered this dude with a brick, or he stabbed him with a brick.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of the movie, and then it ends, and we're already an hour and 10 minutes into this podcast. Good fucking god! I thought this was gonna be quick. Okay.
I mean,
okay. What do we think about the movie? Ian, you go.
I actually think that this is a pretty good movie as far as these movies go.
Okay.
I'm grading them on a curve, definitely, but like,
Oh, it's all on a curve, baby.
Yeah. It knew what it was. It went straight for it. It's probably a better execution of this movie. You know what? You know how we'd said a few episodes ago in the year of Fast and Furious. God, the movies would be great if they got out of their own way and just did something just did the fun parts. And this movie actually has none of the burden of the Fast and Furious.
That is true.
And it's mostly just fun parts.
Yeah. But is it a Fast and Furious movie?
Like if you close your eyes.
If you didn't
you pretend it's a stranger. Yeah. I would say that it does check enough boxes to be Fast and Furious. Even the gunplay scenes feel consistent with the universe, I guess. But the benefit of it is it's just paired. It's weird because the Fast and Furious franchise, I guess if we want to compare it to anything else, it's like if you had 7 Avenger movies and then you did Spider-Man.
Wait, you're saying this is Spider-Man?
This is, I mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily that good, but I am saying that it is focused. It's focused in on 2 characters that we know work, that have a dynamic that is time and true tested.
Yeah, this is a buddy cop movie. If you needed to put into a trope thing.
Exactly, and the movie doesn't suffer from having to balance 6 points of view that we pretend are roughly equivalent. You know what I mean? It's Hobbs and Shaw's show, and everybody else is a secondary character supporting it. And I don't know. I think it was directed darn well, and it worked for me better than most of them
in this movie.
Yeah.
So this movie is like, well, Nick, you go before I say a little bit of a piece.
I mean, Ian pretty much nailed my own. Like,
it's a very good observation.
Yeah. I echo my own thing about it. Like, I think it's weird because like compared to spin-offs for other long movie series, this is actually a better one.
Yeah.
At the same time, I agree with Chris of it being just a superhero movie.
It is a superhero. That was going to be my thing. This is the most Marvel movie.
Oh yeah.
There's so many shots.
We're in magic territory now.
Oops. Yeah. Where there's certain framing. I remember like thinking to myself, "Oh yeah, that's like in this Marvel movie where this character is introduced, or like they have the upper hand actually, and this is where they do the cool sweep, or like they have cool moves."
Yeah.
I do agree with like Kevin Hart's scene not being the best.
At least the Ryan Reynolds the Ryan Reynolds scenes, they're doing the exact same job.
Yeah,
but they are funnier. Like
his name, like,
and that's
Victor.
the difference.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, to that point, like, Ryan Reynolds definitely. I liked his performance a lot more for that reason. As a Fast and Furious movie, that's man. I mean, if I had just watched this back then in 2019, without knowing it's Fast and Furious, I would just assume it's an action movie.
Yeah,
that's fair. Let me ask you though, having you guys are now seasoned, you're quite elder experts on Fast and Furious.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna throw out here. We've got the very first scene of the movie where they do basically the exact same arrest, but kind of their own styles.
Yeah.
You have the Russian truck scene, You have the London bike car chase.
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetting, and then you have the Samoa cliffside helicopter thing. I feel like all of those are elements of a Fast and Furious, guys. No?
Yeah, I would argue they are. The
Mm.
the action sequences are.
Yeah.
The one thing that are the only parts of the action sequences that aren't are stuff um like the torture scene, which isn't really torture. Just because they both have to be like charismatic and witty.
Yes.
It's just very much a thing of the Marvel. That would not work at all for Vin Diesel's character as Dom. Because
No.
Dom always has to be kind of like brooding and like cruel.
Yeah. Yes.
And like not really mysterious, but he is kind of like reserved until he says something
Aloof.
that's super suave. Yeah. It's aloof.
Yeah.
And like
Mhm.
it's so the fight scenes that wouldn't match are the ones where they're The Rock and Shaw are like just doing the one-on-one fights or like doing
Right.
the against people. But that's because they're action stars in their own right.
Yeah.
And are doing other things or doing it their style.
I also would say that a scene that kind of stands out tonally is the hand-to-hand the family antique fight in the front yard after the haka dance, which is
Oh yeah.
the only fight that felt quite as gritty as that in Fast and Furious is maybe the favela shootout in the Rio heist. Like generally the series has very glossy fights. It doesn't feel nasty and physical in that kind of way. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah,
I don't know. So you're right. I did enjoy the action scenes a lot. It was kind of the in between stuff where it's like, oh yeah, that's a lot of punch up running. They really had nothing for this script beforehand. Or at least it was probably just a bunch of information to get through. Those scenes, as much as like, I did enjoy the Ryan Reynolds scenes, they do feel extremely fucking tacked on.
Oh yeah.
The Kevin Hart one especially feels like that. Because you could have explained a lot of that stuff with just their military background.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of boring.
That's boring. Yeah.
But it still feels like shoehorned in, which is weird. And like I said, it's the most Marvel where every fucking line has to be a quip at the other person.
Well, and every other role has to have the opportunity for expansion. I think at this point, like the Hobbs and Shaw is the movie that I think, it's not the first one, it's not the only one, but it's maybe the most nakedly like, look, we're looking to spin off. If you want to see Kevin Hart again, we'll do that. We'll do. Tell us what you want to see. We'll do it.
Right out.
What do you want from me?
Yeah, what do you want from me? What do you want? So what did I? You know what? So in this movie, like I said, I think the Samoan part, like as weird as it was, like advertised in the fucking trailer, plays so little in this, way less than you think, other than a stand up, to the point where it's like this feels like another movie that was just kind of like shoved in.
I absolutely agree.
I think the Samoan part should have been they should have been there a lot longer.
Can I throw in one more thing about the Samoan part of the movie? Actually, I'm just now thinking of it.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them, that part of the movie also, that feels like we've talked about we're in Magic Land, and like just the unreality of the experience. Because so let me walk you through briefly, but after they do the dance and Owen Shaw like throws fire down on the battlefield, and that whole scene, right? We then get the tactile fight, and then the helicopter comes and bombs their house. And at that point, the movie cuts, and I just noticed it was to me, it was really jarring, because we go from the dead of night, fireside battle, to now it's daytime. It's not
like
even
morning. Yeah. Well, so they do. There is a line, to their credit. There is a line that's like, we're gonna do this at like dawn, So
Yeah.
the sun's
Okay.
at our back.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is like morning when they do it. But yeah,
Okay.
the lighting ranges, I'm with you. The lighting, like the way it switches once they start fighting is very
Yeah.
abrupt. Like it's no
And
gradient or anything.
it just feels like, I don't know, and maybe I'm being picky, but like we've all been in the tropics before. It's I don't know if that's a wild thing to ask, but like it it's not unusual for
Yeah.
rain to happen like a few yards that way
Yeah.
and it be very, very sunny over there.
Yeah.
But the difference between the typhoon pouring over the dramatic fight that they're having,
Yeah.
and then we would occasionally cut back to the family fighting the cyborgs, and it's like, again, broad daylight and very sunny out. It did feel like, so where did they drive? How far away are they?
It
Where
must have been
there's
the other side of the island because they did say it was like raining or like there was a
Okay.
storm.
Okay.
But it must have been, yeah, you're right. It's a long ass drive.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
were going really fast though, Ian.
They were going real fast.
Yeah.
And it's just about an island, gang. You could probably get there real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I kind of wish more of this movie was that because you could have done a cool thing where it's like both, you know, old values. You could have done a whole thing of like, you know, believing in the instrument that you're given, like your body, and training that versus
Yeah.
the robot stuff. Versus
Yeah.
the cyborg stuff, as well as Rock having his own like family arc.
Which you don't really get. You just get, I don't have a family. Oh, I guess
Yeah.
I do. I should go back now.
Yeah, so that's always like the craziest thing with Fast and Furious is like it's always like family is the given, right? So that must mean
Yeah.
you do anything. It's
Mm,
never
yeah.
like something that's earned or it
No.
can be taken away or
Yeah.
like or you
Yeah.
lose, right? It's always just a given.
Yeah.
It has to be a force. It's the force in this movie where it's stronger than anything else.
It binds
Right.
us together.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the magic now. Like now it's becoming the force. I'm gonna argue for the. Okay, so what'd you anything else we say before we get into what we got out of it and then rank these? Just because I'm looking at the time.
Sure.
Anything
Nick,
else?
any big thoughts that come to your mind?
At least like it hasn't already been said in regards to feelings about where this movie lands in the
Mhm.
Fast and Furious
Mm.
universe,
Mhm.
and how we're gonna move forward with the next two films.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say that watching this, it's gonna be interesting seeing the next Fast and Furious movie gonna be another Hobbs and Shaw spinoff.
Mm.
Yes. So we'll see. That's my thing. We'll see.
We're going
Okay.
back to Justin Lin after this too.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
No, let's do what we got out of it. I think I'm ready
got it.
to
What'd you get out of it,
big-
Ian?
What did I get out of it? I got you know what I got? I got
What'd you get?
a consistent I'll tell you right now. I got a pretty consistent action movie, I feel like, except for, as we said, that end part, which does feel a little tacked on, wonky, weird. I
Mhm.
think that, like, you're right. This movie suffers from a great deal of many hands in the pot.
Yeah.
I think that the things that stand out to me, though, are three things. One is this movie did get out of its own fucking way in a way that the
That's
other
true.
Fast and Furious can't do, because of. I mean, I presume there are people who are like such big fans of the secondary and third tertiary characters.
Mhm.
You just get bogged down in all that. So it feels cleaner, it feels leaner. But yeah, man, that some of the writing was jarring, and I know that Fast and Furious does have like wild cameos, but
Yeah.
this one, it did feel distracting, and maybe it was because I was less distracted. The movie doesn't have as
maybe.
much of a sideshow going on where
Yeah.
when Ronda Rousey shows up in a Saudi Arabian party, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Like,
Yeah, and it's catering to its audience, right? Like,
yeah,
a bunch of people probably lost their shit. You're like, well, it's Ronda Rousey. Yeah.
yeah.
So what, Nick? What'd you get out of it? I'm still like piecing together what I.
I got out of it an amazing example of plot fortress.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
No one gets. Yeah, they never really get hurt. That's why them getting punched in the rain is so like effective. I think.
Yeah.
Because they don't get like hurt like really in the thing.
No, they don't. No.
But plot armor fixes all, Nick. Plot fortress is the new way to go.
Plot fortress is impenetrable.
Well,
and sadly, it's a method that will not help The Rock in future movies in his career.
While Chris is cooking on that, I wonder, Nick, what do you think about like? I think that Fast and Furious is probably going to try and replicate the success of because Hobbs and Shaw was pretty successful. I believe
it was,
yeah. It made 700 million, a little bit over, and then the budget was like 200, I think.
God dang. So yeah, I mean, like, I think that they're probably going to try and franchise. They're probably going to like. Here's the thing, though. While I was watching this, I was just thinking, why didn't they give Luda his own movie? I would have watched the hell out of that.
Yeah.
But,
or Tyrese Gibson, right? Like.
Yeah, Tyrese. Yeah.
Tyrese Gibson, man. I still stand by. He should have gotten like at least something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if they considered it like a profit. I'll look at this later.
Okay.
Because it could be one of those things where it wasn't good enough, you know.
There's many things. There are many things that are like, good enough, I guess. But we're not going back. Yeah.
I'll be surprised.
So, what did I get out of it? I mean, I got really good action scenes out of it. That when two alphas get into a room together, they need to both have a target to vent their righteous anger on. That family's force. It's not something we're gonna explore too often as a concept. It's just always is.
Yeah,
because like there were so many ends they could have done. They could have done why don't we know more? Connecting the daughter with the family. Why wasn't Hattie exploring Shaw's and Hattie's thing, which is already like they had been separate for so long, but they were working together pretty quickly. Because family, and then like the making up with Rock's family, as well as Idris kind of finding a family in a cult type deal. There was a lot of paths to take.
Yeah,
and they don't really. So
they're not really interested in all that cerebral business.
They're not interested in family. Family's just a thing. It's a given, right? Like. It's like how most people aren't interested really in religion, but they're religious because it's just a given.
I was literally just about to say that, like, if this universe treats family like it's like they're like familial Catholics, like Jesus,
exactly.
He's pretty great, guys. You can always count on him.
The shit I hate, but like, okay, so let's rank these.
All right.
Oh wait. First, we have to pick. We have to pick a scene. What was the best action scene in this movie?
I mean,
who wants to throw out the pitch?
The most ludicrous one for me is the one they advertised. It's the helicopter 4-car chase with the bicep curl the helicopter down.
Okay. That's Ian's pitch.
That's my pitch.
Nick, what's your pitch? Best action scene.
Best action scene, probably the family doing the Samoan, the haka,
doing the haka and then into the fight.
Yeah.
One could argue both of those are part. Well, no, they're not. There is like a before and after, like
Yeah.
distinction. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
those are two separate ones.
my
Those are
favorite
both
fight in the
good. Those are
movie.
both going to be mine.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so if I had to choose another one, then I don't know, the cars, the Rock driving that truck, and and Shaw driving the all terrain,
Okay.
making it out of the Russian like factory or whatever.
Mm.
I
That's pretty
I
cool.
I will say of those that we've now been presented with,
Yeah.
I do see the value in like the haka and the hand to hand fight just because it's so messy. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't mean messy. I mean, you guys kind of get what I'm saying.
It's more
in that
intimate. It's more visceral. Yeah, they're not using machines like
yeah,
to do the
exactly.
fighting.
It is kinetic. You are feeling
Yeah.
bodies slam into each other. It feels very grounded and real. And yeah, I did really like that. I did love that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, I already want to change my answer. I
Okay.
want to throw out the Rock flying down the side of a building and table hopping off of grappling dudes
God damn.
to get. Because that's right. All right, we're here. We're here into these are Supermen. We already
This is
had a
Looney
Vin
Tunes.
Diesel punching the garage.
Yeah.
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 No, these are superhumans.
Uh,
Okay. So out of those three, which one are we feeling is the best one?
I'm probably gonna go even tighter on the haka. What do you guys think?
You think the Hawk? Interesting.
Man, him on the side of the building was crazy.
That was fucking nutty. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I think by sheer, maybe by sheer
Spectacle,
will,
like where you're watching.
and by spiritual meta moment of, oh yeah, this is a superhero movie.
We're here.
Yeah. I will say,
Mhm.
maybe, yeah, I might agree with the Haka into the fight because it's the most like payoff. Because there is a little bit of setup.
Yeah.
Granted, it's really fucking fast, but it's
Very,
like it's a
very
little bit of setup of like watching the whole plan come together, and it works. Except for
Yeah.
the fact that they have a helicopter, and then they gotta drive. And it's
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
But the car scene is cool, just the way they do everything.
Yeah.
The way that all connects together. And I think I agree with Ian. That is the most Fast and Furious part
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
But if we're all arguing over the Haka and Ian's going to the Haka, then
Yeah.
I will do 2.
Okay.
Haka
Sweet.
I'm
Okay.
gonna call it the Haka family fight.
Haka family fight. Very good. Very good.
All right,
The Hobbs Haka family.
So first let us rank
Okay.
the fight scene
Okay.
in Hobbs and Shaw. Okay, so here is the current ranking. The current ranking at number 8 is the second mine run from Fast 4.
Yep.
The number 7 is the garage scene from Fast 2.
Mhm.
6 is the ice chase from Fast 8. 5 is the Shibuya drift from Fast 3. 4 is the plane sequence from Fast 6. 3 is the Abu Dhabi car through towers Fast 7. Really, that's a lot higher than I remember. 2
Yeah.
is the safe chase, Fast 5. And 1 is the truck scene from Fast 1. Okay, is it better than the second mine run from Fast 4?
Yes.
I agree. So that's Nick. You agree too?
Yeah, I'm with that too.
All right, 3.
Okay.
Okay, is it better than the garage scene in Fast 2?
Yes.
Yes, I would argue yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably.
Okay, is it better than the ice chase from Fast 8?
Now this is where I'm starting to question, but I feel like maybe. What do you think? What do you think?
I'm gonna go no.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm not.
I think the ice
Tyrese
chase
almost
is
dying.
yeah, it's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
There's cool things happening. Characters are having their
Yeah.
moments with their arcs they've been setting up through that movie.
True. Yeah,
I think it goes below ice chase.
I think it goes below ice chase, so it's just above the mine chase and just above
Of the garage.
the garage. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so our new number 7 is the Haka family fight from Hobbs and Shaw. That leaves number 8 to be the garage scene from Fast 2. And number 9 is still the second mine run from Fast 4.
Yeah.
All right, fellas.
Well,
now we got to rank the movie.
Okay.
All right, current rankings for the movie are at number 8, Fast 4. At number 7, Fast 8. At number 6, Fast 2. At number 5, Fast 5. At number 4, Fast 6. At number 3, Fast 7. Oh my god, these are getting really hard to remember. At number 2, Fast 3. At number 1, Fast 1.
I'm inclined to say that it's somewhere above 8, but near 2 as far because this one has some 2 energy. But what do you guys think?
Let's do this. Let's do this the right way.
Okay.
Let's do this the way we've been doing. Better than Fast 4.
Yes.
I agree.
Mm.
Nick agrees. Better than Fast 8.
Yes.
Fast 8 was the last one we just watched.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed this more than that one.
Yeah.
Is it better than Fast 2?
Now, they are very similar creatures in that they are leaner but imperfect creations, if that makes sense.
And 2 has a real big problem in that everything out of Tyrese is kind of not
great.
That great.
What's after 2 on the list?
Fast
What's above
5.
it?
So Fast 5 is, hang on. I know, because we're going to start mixing up the names and everything.
Rio? That's Rio, I think.
That is... No, that's where he's... Yeah, that is the one where they go to Rio.
Yeah.
Because Dom is saved from the prison truck.
Yes. What do you think, Nick? I feel like it's right in this area, definitely. But
for me, Fast 2 is like, I don't think it's better than 5.
Does Hobbs and Shaw, do any of them have a line better than Injectocito?
No.
Wow, what a good point.
What a good point, Nick. I agree. Like, I'm not even joking. I agree with you.
No, I'm not being funny. It is a funny line.
More
but
than
I'm serious.
We hungry? Or
We hungry? Man, dude. Tyrese's back must have hurt for how much he was carrying.
Yeah. Like him and his introduction was still cool with the rally.
Yeah, it's really good.
And
it's really good.
It is cool.
Okay, at number 9. So the new number 9 is Fast 4. The new number 8 is Fast 8. Number 7 is Hobbs and Shaw. So we're ranking today. All right. And with that closes us out for another month of Fast and Furious. The next one will be Fast 9 on November 15th. We're so close. We're in the penultimate movie now.
Oh, dang.
Oh, no.
Or at least, well, they said they're making more. So,
the next one is a 2-parter. I know they're in the middle of a 2-parter, I believe.
Yeah, they're in the middle of a 2-parter. Apparently, I didn't know that until recently. Yeah. So, we're gonna have a conversation about how we're gonna rank that.
Okay.
But anyway, it is the spooky month. You wouldn't know it if you were listening to this podcast, but we are doing spooky things all November. Our last podcast was I Saw the TV Glow. Go check that out. We all love that movie, and we had a great time talking about it.
Yeah.
Next one will be a week from when this podcast is released. So on the 22nd will be Happiness.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely really excited to talk about it.
Yes.
I'm excited to watch it, guys. I haven't seen it before, so.
And then for Halloween Day, will be I'm starting to worry about this Black Box of Doom by Jason Pargin, the book. All right, that's it. We did it. Another Fast Furious down.
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta go. I'm looking at the time. So, bye.
Good night.
See ya.